Namaskar. So our goal in yoga practice is oneness. Our goal is to be perfect, to be infinite, to be absolute, to overcome this limited sense of duality and experience totality. So we become how we think, or we become what we think. And the question came in my mind the other day, so what's the difference in the way that the absolute, the divine, the perfect thinks, and how I, as my little ego, think? And the conclusion that I came to was that when I think from my ego, from my limited personal perspective, I exclude the world, the divine. Here is me, here is the divine, here is the world. So there's a separation. Whereas when there is oneness, from the point of view of the absolute, everything is included. Everything is part of itself. So that's the difference. Exclusion or inclusion. And then I started to experiment. All right, so if I've got to become infinite and absolute, then I have to practice inclusive thinking. So look around me and think everything I see, the whole lot, positive, negative, past, present, and future, good and bad, everything is me. Is that not how the divine would see everything? And I find that when I practice that mindfulness of inclusiveness, I immediately have a beautiful expanded feeling, a feeling of love and friendliness and connectedness, just like, my hand is part of myself. I have a fairly positive relationship with it. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not detached from it. I understand what's going on with it. So, similarly, when I begin to view everything around me as myself, that same feeling of connectedness, affinity, naturally comes. But this is something that we have to work at, because it's not the state of mind that we are used to. It is there, it is our deeper being, our deeper awareness. In a way, it is natural, because it is viewing the world from my bigger eye. As our master Sri Ananda Murti says, everyone has two eyes, the little eye of the ego and the universal eye, the beingness at the root and source of everyone and everything. So that is my big eye. How can I see the world from the point of view of my big eye rather than my little eye? So from that perspective, everything is me. It's all me, it's all mine. And so by shifting perspective, it brings me to my bigger I. So, have a try. Look around you as often as you can. Be mindful. Be inclusive. See the world from the viewpoint of your bigger I. Everything is me. Everything is myself. And we arrive at comfort, oneness, love, connectedness, and a feeling of expansion, a feeling of being vast. Now, there are 3 different approaches to reaching this state, and they come from which personal pronoun you are using. Is it I, is it you, or is it he, she, or it? The first person, the second person, or the third person. So what I've been describing is the first person. Everything is me. The other way of approaching it is a very sweet and devotional approach. Everything is you. So everything is God, everything is you. Which has a more devotional nature to it. The only weakness is you tend to exclude yourself, right? So everything is you, but you still have this perspective of me here. And the third person approach is everything is love, right? So all of those are valid, although what I'm talking about today is the first person approach. Everything is me, inclusive. Perhaps a little easier to catch that feeling because you don't tend to leave yourself out. Right? The job is to include other things, whereas when you try the other approach, you are trying to include yourself in it, which is not so easy. Everything is love, also very effective. So all of these are valid approaches. The important thing is that you end up with oneness. So whether it's all me or whether it's all you or whether it's all love, doesn't matter so much in the end, because when it's all one thing, there's no names to distinguish. So that's the little idea to try out. Look at the world from the perspective of your bigger I and remind yourself, everything is me. Namaskar. I hope you find that useful and enjoyable. Have a good week.